Recording now. You've had a chance to see the report from the Abbot in the Book of Reports. I know you can all read, so I'm not going to read to you. Just a couple thoughts that have come to my mind as we have gone through this past year. I continue to be so grateful for the younger members that have come into the order, for the contributions that they are making very quickly in leadership. As I pondered whether to stay another 4 years as abbot, I just made a decision that said, yes, I would. But I had one goal for my second 4 years, and that is that when I leave this office, we have new people, active people, a renewed sense of energy. And I'm thinking I could leave this year and we'd be fine. I'm not planning to leave this year, but so appreciative of the willingness to serve that I see among people coming in, and so grateful for that. We've continued to work with the inquirers and what to do with that, and Brother Daniel, and we'll hear more about that. But I will say I appreciate the work that we're doing, in my mind, to simplify the process of bringing people in. I am thankful for the chapters who have stepped up to bringing inquirers in, not through the formal process specifically, but through a process of doing that mentoring of inquirers by the activities of the chapters. There was a day when we could bring almost everybody in through that channel, when we had a lot more chapters and a lot more people involved in chapters. But the chapters that exist are a wonderful way to get people to come in and be acquainted with the order. So thank you if your chapter is participating in that. And thank you if what you're doing is looking at how to streamline this process. A revision that has us doing inquirers on an online basis with the group calls was a wonderful start to looking at how we get more knowledge faster and easier and in a pleasant way to people who are interested. I don't know that most of you would be aware, but there is almost a revival going on in Oregon. I don't know if you're planning to talk about that, but we are shipping off, when we get our processes sorted out, a stack of books to David Collette, Brother David, because they sent out, and anybody interested in this, come and we'll tell you about the order, and 60-some people came, and they said, fine, now that you know something about it, we'll have another meeting to go a little deeper, and 30-some people came to that. So we could be about to have our biggest chapter in Oregon, which I doubt is something any of us had been expecting to have happen. So that work is wonderful. We're going to have people with us in October that are taking first vows. So many organizations struggle for membership, and it is wonderful to see the avenues that are going on that will bring people into the fold, and have them come in understanding who we are and what we're about. Because I think, to me, that was the biggest gift of having a novitiate-like process, is to have people arrive here knowing what they're getting. And so I celebrate that and thank all of you who have had your various contributions to that. Not like giving you any time to prepare your thoughts, but thank you for being back, because I think that's, unless somebody has a question for me, I think that's my report. Do you want?
So is it to me?
It is to you, unless you would like Heather to go first while you get.
I can give you 3 minutes to recombobulate if you want.
Please,
Okay.
go ahead.
So skipping to the provincial general report. Also, I'm not gonna read it because I'm not a sciences Excel person. You get a nice chart in a Word document listing our chapters and priors, their activities, their members. I'd love it if we could get membership in chapters as part of the database, as well. I just think that'd be kind of interesting to have. But I encourage you, strongly encourage you to pray for these chapters and priors over the course of the week. You know, write out a couple names of chapters or priors at each of the services we're going to be praying together over the course of this week, and lift them up earnestly. They're doing fantastic work, and several of them are here in the room, and we want to support them with our prayers. So other than encouraging you to attend to that, 2 things I need to report. One is that the Mid-Atlantic Emerging chapter has, I think, emerged, and I have received covenanting documents from Brother Brett. I don't know if that's something we can do officially now, or if we have to wait until General Council in October.
We can do it now.
I think we can do it now.
Okay, so then I would ask your blessing and your affirmation of the establishment of a new chapter in the Mid-Atlantic.
So moved. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone silly enough to be opposed? I just passed unanimously.
Excellent.
I mean, I'm silly enough to oppose it, but I'm not going to.
That'll be the official name.
Will that be
The
the
official
name?
name is the Mid-Atlantic chapter,
Okay, thank you.
yes. And Brother Brett is prior, sub-prior is Sister Hildy. And their activity includes Monday mid-morning prayer, chanting through the Psalms, checking in, and discussion. And it sounds like it's a discussion that's rich informative material. Yeah, so we celebrate with them becoming an official chapter. The other note is that the Winged Ox group, which has long been Brother David Collette's association since he's moved, he's asked Brother Andrew Owen to superintend that group. I technically, since an association, he's not a prior, but still. So that's Brother Andrew Owen, but I don't think that's something we need to vote on. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. But
I have a question. Which
Yes.
chapter did you say?
that's the Winged Ox Association.
Oh, Winged Ox,
Yeah.
okay.
So that's now Brother Andrew Owen,
And associations have conveners.
convener for that association, right? While Brother David gathers the thousands and tens of thousands out.
Is that the one that got the news report video? Yeah, that was cool.
So but it may be happening in other places too, you know, maybe follow his lead and throw out some ideas and see who takes, right? I think sometimes the Holy Spirit blesses foolishness, so if we can be foolish enough to try, right? That's what I brought to share with you all. Thank you all for everything that you do to support the work of our priors and provincial companions.
And
We have a brother from the Philippines chapter who's been appointed to work in the Great Rivers Conference, who shared that the Philippines chapter is booming. They're just growing and growing. I think he said they're up to 80 members now.
Where's, and there's 2 different groups in the
there's
Philippines.
2
Yes.
chapters in the Philippines. And we need to encourage them to be in better communications with us because we don't have their names to be on the records.
Yeah, we'll have to, if he visits with us again, we'll have to get contact information.
Though I do have many names in the chart that I've included, so I try to do that for Spring Council, is gather actual names together, so they are there. And I think I let members of the council know, someone from the Philippines that I'm liking right now, I'd have to go back and find out, expressed an interest in coming to attend
That's
October.
Brother Adore.
Yeah, Brother Adore.
Yes.
That may be complicated paperwork-wise, but is that something we talk about later?
We can talk about it later, or we can talk about it now. he has asked us to fund his visa. And I don't have the information with me on that. If we pay for his visa, that's not only a financial obligation, but you are then legally obligated for him not doing anything bad while he's here. I've met Brother Adore. I do not think he was kind of planning to come and do bad things.
He's not packing his AK-47.
Right. But,
They probably can't get them.
but I think we should be aware of that obligation.
When it gets off the plane.
If we do sponsor him coming.
Do you know how much that costs?
I looked it up and I do not remember, I'm sorry.
Are we talking like $100 or 10,000?
It's more than 100.
Closer to the 100, but not real close to the 100.
But okay.
So we could make a motion to sponsor his visa up to a $200 charge or something like that.
We should look up
Maybe
it
500.
before we act on it, we should look up and see, unless there's somebody here who knows what a visa would cost.
So
I
we
know
can do
the
that.
client I have who's, I'm reviewing a book for their visa applications, and they're paying me $200 for 2 hours work.
Should
So
we
the visa
appoint
must
someone
be
to work on it?
pricey.
Well,
Yeah, they've raised all those fees.
I would like to bring up another thought associated with that. It would be nice to have him come here. When I became abbot, Brother Daniel and I went there. And the logic at the time was, if we go there, then 80 people form a connection. If he comes here, one person has that connection. Sending people there will cost us a great deal more than a visa. But I would like us to consider those two items together. They could be two different decisions. You could decide to do both. But I think we need to address the question of whether we want the new abbot to go and meet that many of our members.
And I think it's important to be aware that there are two chapters in the Philippines, that there's, I think, a bit of tension between the two. And so if we were to bring Brother Adore from one of the chapters, then we would need to be in contact with the other chapter and say, we're doing this now, maybe let's do that, let's plan for this in the future, so that there's no sense of prioritization or favoritism or anything. And if we send folks over to visit, then again, that's just something to be aware of.
Is Brother Adore, though, or his chapter are funding his plane fare, and he's getting here?
He's only asking, in the correspondence I've seen, for us to provide the visa.
I think we can offer that to the other chapter, as long as we're not.
There's, Brother Mark, you look like you were trying to say something.
When you're ready.
We're ready.
I guess just the cautious soul in me, does, at the moment, it strikes me as an odd request. I'm wondering what the assumption is in asking us to cover that charge when everything else is being covered. Is that just sort of so that we can invest in this? I guess I just don't quite get it. Why we're being asked to cover this particular.
Countries that require visas, you have to have someone who sponsors you on the other side. So,
Okay, that's the answer then, I guess.
like back when I was safe to go to Russia, I couldn't go without having someone sponsor me on that side and promise to be responsible for me while I was there.
I think that's going to be. I think there is, this fits with the provincial general report. There are two chapters there, and it's fairly clear that their intention, I think, is a mild way of saying it. The long-established chapter had a group break off because they felt that the business of the chapter, the reputation of the chapter was being very tightly controlled. unlike some of our Methodist groups here, they actually, their DSs were all in the Order of St. Luke. They were in the order first, and then they became